Today we'll be looking at working with animations. The last time we talked about working with transition, that when you work with transition affects the way your entire slide is displayed, either when it's coming in or when it's going out. And whatever transition you apply, you can always preview to see how it's going to look like. And that is what transition is. Today, we'll be talking about animations. What differentiates animation from transition? Animation affects the content on the slide, not the slide now as a file, but the content of the slide. I told you towards your left, where your slides are listed, if you have applied transition on any slide, you will see the asterisk sign below the slide number. As you can see on slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4, you can see the asterisk sign below the slide number. That has to do with transition. But today we're talking about animation. For instance, if you look at my current slide in slideshow, you will discover that what it has is only a transition that determines how the slide comes in and goes. The content doesn't display any artistic work as regards the way it comes in and the way it goes. So on this note, I want to apply animation to this slide. I want to apply animation to each of these slides. Now, so when you want to apply animation, you select the content. When you want to apply animation, you select the content. For instance, if I want to apply animation here, I will select this, the effect of COVID-19 on construction projects in Nigeria. Because I've selected that. So when you come to your animation, there are different types of animation. You can see it's categorized. Either entrance, by default, it is none. No animation is applied on your system by default. It is none. So you can choose entrance, emphasis. Apart from entrance and emphasis, you have other groups. You have exit, you have motion parts. For the purpose of this class, I will take one from emphasis. So when you do that, you can click on add animation. For instance, if you want it to fly in, you can say it should fly in. Do you see that? When you click on fly in, you can see it has effect options, just like transition. The effect option here vary from one type of animation to the other. The content of the effect function will be determined by the type of animation that you select. I select fly in now. So look at the option. Should it fly in from bottom left, from left, from top left? Do you see that? So I can say I want it to fly in from top right. So this will fly in from top right. Then apart from that, here you will see the speed, duration. So if this is if it's too fast for me, I can increase the speed. You can see. So if I preview this now, you see the way it looks like. You can see the way it looks like. It is slower than before because I've increased to 2 seconds. And you also notice something. You will see something like 1 here, which means an animation has been applied to this text, not all of them. So if I want to apply another one to this, I will select this and let me apply another type of animation, add animation. Instead of flying in, let's assume I want it to bounce. Do you get that? So this is bouncing. Now, since I selected bouncing, you can see 2, 2, which means on this slide, this is the first animation, is the first one that will show. Then after that, this second one will show. Do you get it? After that, this second one will show. Good. I can also determine the speed of this. Okay, the speed is 2 now. So I will save this file. So by the time I preview this, you see what happens. Now, if you look at my screen now, nothing is coming. Unlike before I apply the animation, as soon as transition is displayed, the content will come automatically. This time around, the system will wait for me to press either the next button on the remote control or press the arrow down on my system or arrow right. So having pressed arrow down now, you see what's coming. You can see. The title comes in from top right as selected. The other section of this document has not come because I have not pressed anything. So that is one good thing animation does for you. It will not display your content until you ask it to display it. Now, having pressed my arrow right now, arrow down, you see what happened? It came and it was bouncing based on the animation that I selected. Based on the animation that I selected. So you can see that this slide 1 now already has an animation. This slide 1 already has an animation. Can you practice that on your system? And let me see what it looks like. I will also show you my own. Practice that on your system on your first slide. Now, let me add animation to slide 2. There is something I want you to see in this slide 2 as I add this animation. The same thing that I do in slide 1, I will do with slide 2. But you have to get it properly and see the difference. It has a little difference. If I select this now, the title, what is COVID-19? I will go to animation and I will need to start my animation. I will add animation. So I can pick anyone. Let's assume I pick this time around, grow and turn. Do you see that? I can also work on the speed. Now, I need you to look at this. There is something you need to see here. If I select, so if I want to do this, I have to select it one by one. So I can add animation to this one. Then let's assume I want each of these to bounce. Good. That is the first one. You select each of the points one by one. I want it to bounce as well. You can see the preview. I want this to bounce as well. Because so that animation and transition should not distract your audience from the content of your slide. So you might not have much reason to be changing animation or transition, but for the purpose of practice, you can select different ones just for you to see how it works. You can select different ones just for you to see how it works. What I want you to notice in this slide 2, you know, it has a title and content, and the contents are in points. You will see that the title is having 1, which means that is the first content that will come and animation has been applied to it. So if you look at the point, it has 5 points. Each of them, you apply animation to it separately. When you apply animation to it separately, it's one of the tricks in Microsoft PowerPoint that makes your audience get glued to you. If you look at it, each of the points has different number. Number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. If you select all of them at the same time and add animation, all of them will have number 2, which means all of them will come up at the same time, which is not too good for your presentation. Your audience will just be reading or copying, but you can show one point at a time and speak to it. So you select each of them and apply animations to them differently. I'm saving this file now, and I want to show you the effect. So I want to show this slideshow from current slide. Look at it. Current slide is slide 2. You can see what happened. Just like what I had in slide 1, nothing is coming until I press the next button, either on my remote control or on my keyboard. So having pressed my arrow down now, you see what happens. The title comes in. So I can keep speaking to this. Then the first point, I press arrow down again or next, it shows me the first point. With this, the audience don't know how many points I have. They don't know which point is the next one. So with this, I can speak to this first point. It is a novel viral infection. Then I move to the next one. You can see what that animation has done. It's keeping your point until you call it. It keeps your point until you call it. So I can press next and see the next one. I can press next and see the next one. I can press next and see the next one. So I have all the 5 points shown. So if I press next again, it takes me to another slide. It takes me to another slide. So try applying animation on your slide 2 on each of the points for you to see how it will react. Now, let's look at this slide 3. There's one or two things I want to show you on this slide 3. I've applied animation here normally. Attribute of COVID-19. That's the title. So I've applied animation here. Let's assume the animation I want to apply here is split. Good. I can also determine the speed and I can preview it. Is that okay? Now, I want you to see this. You will discover that slide 1 is the title slide. It's different from slide 2 that has content and title. This one has title and content, but the content is a smart art graphics. And that difference is what I want you to know. So, you know, this one you can't select it, you just select the entire graphics. You can now add animation and set it should bounce. Now, there is something I want you to see. If you look at this, let me preview it from current slide. If you look at this, the title has come. I've not pressed anything. So when I press my arrow down now, the entire smart art has come. Good. So this is what I want you to notice. Having done this, you go back to animation. You will see your effect option. You can now determine when you want it to come. As one object, all at once, or one by one. Are you with me now? So I will select one by one. Do you see what is happening now? So sneezing will come separately. Coughing will come separately. General body weakness will come separately. Do you get it now? So anytime you select a smart art graphics, you will decide when you want it to come. And you can see the numbering. Before, when all of them come as one object, it gives it the same number, 2. But since I've selected that it can come one by one, you can see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because there are 7 points there. So this is 7. 2 to 8 is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do you get it? So that is the difference between when you have a smart art graphics and when you have just ordinary words or points like you have in slide 2. So from the beginning now, if we look at this, you will discover that it's different from what it was when we started the class. It's different from what it was when we started the class. Are you seeing it now? Are you seeing it? So you can see the effect of animation on your slide. You can see the effect of animation on your slide. You can see It has stopped because I'm not pressing my arrow down again. So let's assume I want to make some more emphasis on the high body temperature. I can have my time to talk about it, and I press my arrow down again, the next one comes. I take my time, talk about it, I can press my arrow down again, the next one comes, and like that, and like that. So we are done with adding animations. We are done with adding animations. So we want to pick the next step. But what I want you to do in 3-4 minutes is you add animations to all your slides. Add different animations to all your slides. Then we'll create another slide where I will teach you another concept. So add animations to all your slides. Thank you. I believe we are all at home with adding animations to our slides, just like we have done in slide 1, 2, 3, and I ask you to do the same thing all across the other part of your slide. Now, go to in between slide 8 and 9, insert another slide, insert a blank slide. Just insert a blank slide like this. Insert a blank slide. Have you all done that? When you insert a blank slide, go to your layout. There is one of the layouts that is blank. So select blank, which means it's not going to have any title, it's not going to have any body, it's just going to be blank. It's going to be blank like what I have on my system. Go and insert a new slide in between the thank you slide and the slide before it, which means your new slide will be before the thank you slide. Having done that, you know, when you insert a new slide, it takes the layout of the slide before it. So what you do is you go to Layout, click on the drop down on Layout, and select blank. So for the first time, we want to work on a slide that has no layout, because sometimes you see some presentation that almost every corner of the presentation has either one picture, one arrow, one illustration, or the other. That is also allowed. Now, there are 2-3 things we will do with this. The first thing is we'll insert 2 or 3 pictures. So I want to insert 2 or 3 pictures now. So you go to the Insert options, that is Insert ribbon. Then you click on Picture. You see Picture. Click on the drop down after Picture. The drop down under Picture is asking you 2 questions. Is your picture saved on this device, that is talking about the computer you are using, or is your picture saved online? If your picture is saved online, you have to go to that online, either any of the cloud provision system, either Gmail, that is Google Drive, or OneDrive of Microsoft, or on any other location online where you have your picture. But for the purpose of this class, I want to pick a picture on my device. So I will select this device. When I select this device, you go to the folder where your picture is. You go to the folder where your picture is. So I have a folder called Training Pics, and I have some pictures there. So when you click on the picture, you can double click on the picture or click on the picture and click on Insert. So when you do that, the picture appears on your slide. And when the picture appears on a slide like that, automatically you will see another ribbon coming up, Picture Formatting. You see Format towards the right. All the icons and tools you will need to make these pictures suit your purpose, you will find here. So I want to insert another picture now. So I'll go to Insert and click on Pictures, this device. So I can pick any other pictures from this. I can pick any other pictures from this. Okay, I've taken this. So I have 2 pictures. Now you can resize any of the pictures. Then I want to take one more, making 3. So insert any 2 or 3 pictures. I want to take one more, making 3. Good. So if you can see now, I have three different pictures on my slide. I have three different pictures on this slide. I have three different pictures on this slide. So I want to believe you've also inserted picture. Just look for any good picture on your system and insert. Look for any good picture on your system and insert. Having done that, then you have your picture tools coming up. For instance, you can give your picture a border. You can decide which border you want to give your picture. You can see I've given this picture a border now. So I can give the border a color. You can see. So having done this, there are so many other things I can do on this picture. This one is talking about artistic effects. You can see it has different artistic effects. I can pick different effects from it, different from the one that I have there. Okay, I can give you this black and white as an artistic effect. Hope you are following it. I can give you this black and white. If I want to remove the background, I can remove the background. You can see I can change the background to whatever I have. Are you with me? But I don't want it, so I can discard the changes and leave it the way it is. Are you with me? Hope you are seeing all the things I'm trying. Then you can change the style of the picture. These are different styles of the way the picture will appear rather. So I can make my picture to look like this. Just see what I'm doing. So let's assume here, I can do a whole lot of things on this as well. I can make this to look like this. When you have something like this, you can see this one makes you to rotate. This sign is for you to rotate your picture. You can see I can do the same thing with this also. I can rotate the picture. You can see when you select any of these artistic styles, it's changed the way your picture looks like. So with this, I can rotate this. That's how I want to rotate this like this. Now, see what I want to do. Just watch it. If you look at this now, you discover that this other picture is at the back. When I select on it, I can say bring forward. You can see it has brought it forward. Are you with me? I've brought this picture forward. So I can click those two pictures and put them together. When you click it, you hold down the control key and click the second one. Are you there? So when you do this, you can right click and it will ask you whether you want to group them. You can see group. So when you group a picture, when you group pictures, you can group 3, 4, 5, 6 pictures as one. So what I've done now, I have grouped these two pictures together. They are now one. You can see that they are no more separate. I've taught you how to add picture, how to bring a picture forward or backward. Now, let's assume I now want to make an illustration on this. I can use any of my arrows, any of my shapes. Let's assume I want to use, you can see this arrow, one of the pointer arrows. Good. Let's assume I want to use this. No, we have different shapes. Let's assume I want to use this or this. I can click on this and draw it out. Then after drawing it, I can rotate it. And when you also have this, you have the formatting bar for this, because you can also change a whole lot of things in this. You can change the fill, you can change the fill color, you can see, you can change the outline, change a whole lot of things about it. Are you with me? It also has different effects. You can change it the way you want. So and you can type on it straight away. I can say, this is what thinking means to us. So I can just, now if you want to change this color inside, you can select it and change the color. Just go to your color and change it straight away. You can change this and change the color, probably change it to red. You can see, this is what thinking means to us. So I can do this and just click it here. I can rotate it back. I can rotate it back and put it and make it a presentation and say this is what thinking means to us. Let me insert another picture and also say something about it. Insert pictures, this device, and I have another picture. Look at this. So I can take this also, give it different effects. give it different effect. Then I can put it on each other. Are you seeing what I'm doing? Then I can bring this one forward, or I just leave it like this and rotate it. Do you see that? Then I can group the two of them together. For me to group it, I select the first one, hold down my control key, select the second one. You can see the two of them. You right click, and you see group. You see now? So I've grouped this picture together. The two of them are now one. So I can rotate it as I've grouped it. You can see. You can see what I'm doing. And I can also put my arrow, insert my shape, and also say something else. Come to my shape, insert shape, and also say something else. So look at what I want to say. I can pick another arrow and draw it. You can see. And rotate this and say, what can you call this? And I put a question mark. So I can draw the arrow, you can see. Then as soon as I have this, I have several shape design. I can give it several shape design. I can decide the outline, how it's going to look like. Are you with me? Give it an outline color that is a bit bigger. Do you get? Do you see now? So now all this now, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. I can select the 4 of them and group them again. I select this, I hold down my control key, select this, my control key is still on, select the arrow and select this one. While you select the 4 of them, make sure none of them is lost and right click again now. It's lost now, so I have to try it again. Make sure none of them is lost. And you can see I can group it again. So you can see I have grouped all of them now into one file. Do you see it now? I have grouped all of them now into one file. Do you see it? I can move all of them together. I can move all of them together. Is that okay? I've grouped all of them into one file. So let's look at this presentation from the beginning. Let's look at this presentation from the beginning. 1, you can see. You understand all that we discussed? You can see it. So these are the things that we have been able to do today. You can see it. Adding animations. And after adding animations, we also look at adding animation to points, adding animation to smart art graphics. You can see this is smart art graphics that I'm explaining one after the other. Adding animation to smart art graphics. You can see. Then I ask you to add animations to the remaining one yourself so that I'll be able to see what you have done. I ask you to add animation. When you add animation to your table, you'll be able to see what the option looks like. I ask you to do all that. Then finally for today, I did this myself. Inserted a blank slide. Make sure it has no layout, that the layout is blank. Add your pictures, and you can add words to your pictures. You can give direction. This can speak to an audience, comparing probably between madness and what thinking is, or right thinking and wrong thinking. Do you understand? So this will probably end our PowerPoint class. So take your time to practice all this. Then when next we see, you can see what everyone has done.